Hello everyone, my name is Distresswell and today I am going to teach you how to draw a nice tree in Happy Wheels. So for the advanced tutorial series, every now and then I want to throw in a series where I do art. And today it is about trees. So let's pretend you're making a forest level, and for this level I'm stranded with a bus in the middle of the forest. So I was going on a vacation, but the bus is out of fuel and we're here in the middle of the forest. So the first thing I want to do is I want to pick colors. Now a tree consists of two different basic colors, being green and brown. Brown for the tree trunk and green for the leaves. So since my floor is already brown, we want to make sure that the tree is not the same color as the floor, because then you can't see a clear difference. So what we are going to do is get our floor color. This is a simple way to make sure that we don't use the same color, to just go to that color. And then pick a brighter one. So I'm gonna go with this color. It looks nice and tree-like. So add that, and then we're just gonna go ahead and add some brighter shades of that. So we have two brighter shades. Next thing we're gonna do is go back to our trunk basic color and drag it all the way to green. And this way we stay consistent with our color use. So add that, and then we're gonna make that brighter as well. There we go. So just to show you, here is a simple visualization of my tree color palette. So before we start drawing a detailed tree, let me go ahead and show you where you want to add the parts of your color palette. So your trunk is obviously going to be your basic color. So let's add that color. Now because our tree trunk is round, we want to show that off. And you can show that off by using shadow. So the way I'm going to light my trunk is to have the brighter colors in the middle. So here you can see a little visualization of what that looks like. And there we go. And then maybe there are some colors left over here and over here, just to indicate that the tree is rough. And as you can see, as I'm showing you where our shadows are going to be, the tree actually already starts looking really nice, even though this isn't going to be our tree officially. Now let me show you where the shadows for the leaves go. So obviously the darkest leaves are going to go on the bottom of the tree. But you also want to have some around the middle. I don't recommend going above the middle with the darker leaves. And then we have our quote-unquote normal leaves, and then finally the brightest leaves on top, that's for sure, and then also in the middle a little bit, maybe on the top right. And this is a nice visualization of where you want to have the colors of your tree. And just to show you how important colors are, these are only 16 shapes, guys. 16 shapes, and it already does look like a very decent tree for 16 shapes. Alright, the start position of my tree is obviously in the front here, because I'm gonna make it foreground. And let's just curve the bottom of the trunk here nicely, because these are the roots of the tree and they always curve really nice over the floor. Later we're gonna add some more detail to the tree trunk, but for now just try to draw some squiggly lines, and this is what it looks like. We have a foreground shape here, so I'm gonna move that away. And as you can see, this is our trunk. So to look at this shape, there is one place where I'm not happy with the shape, and that is this place. For a trunk, you want everything in the middle to be white and then going smaller, smaller, smaller to the tip. Now here it's going from white to small to wide. So we're going to make this part wide as well. There we go. We're going to continue and we're going to go up with our tree. Let's go up to roughly here. And let's start adding a branch. So we have a branch right here, and maybe that branch has its own branch. And then back to the trunk. Cut the trunk off right here, because that's what the leaves are going to cover up. We're going to go down, and then on another level, for a nice 3D feeling, we're going to add another branch. And then maybe coming down here we have a branch with a point, because that one isn't going to get cut off. If your branch is not being cut off by the leaves later, add a point. And then finally back The bus is in the foreground as well, so let's break that group and foreground the tree. If you're actually making a level, don't break the groups, but instead group the tree in the foreground. Before you want to start adding the shadows, just make sure that everything is right and you are completely happy about your tree. You could maybe add some more branches, or maybe you want to add something else, whatever. So I'm going to detail my trunk. So let's just do as I said. We're gonna add the brighter shade in the middle. Because trees are a bit rough, you can sometimes go back, go forward, go back, and just keep going back and forth like that. That is a pattern that suits the tree. For now, we will only go through the middle. The branches will come later. So let's cover up the middle with some nice shadow. This is actually a bit of my personal style, working with very pointy art. Some artists have a lot of smooth art. I think it is nice to experiment with your own style if you're making Happy Wheels art, so keep that in mind. And now we have a foreground. Let's add some more lighting, and this time keep it subtle. You don't want to overexpose and overlight your tree. Maybe even stop somewhere in the middle, like so. And then up here again. What I don't like is that this is a too bright color. So we're gonna make it less bright. That is a bit too subtle. You can barely see it. So let's make it brighter. There. Now the trunk is looking a bit weird, so I'm gonna improve that by adding some more shadow here. And add some shadow right there. And maybe finally some here. Looks a bit better. Okay, next up we're going to take care of the branches. So brighter does not only go through the middle, but more on top as well. Like so. And then over here, the brighter colors. If it doesn't fit, there's no need to add the even lighter colors. Over here it does fit, so we're gonna add some. There we go. Now finally we want to add the leaves. So let's start by adding the darkest leaves. And what I'm just gonna do is go from left to right, up to down, and swiggle around. Now keep in mind, if you're drawing a tree, the width of the trunk is not going to be the width of the leaves. The leaves are actually going from here to here. So a rather large field of leaves. So we can go all the way to the left here without the tree looking weird. Moreover, I think if the leaves would only go to here, the tree would look a bit weird. Let's cover up the parts that we didn't cover up yet. Actually, we can leave this out because it has a nice point. If something in your trunk doesn't have an ending, and what I mean by an ending is I'll show you right now. The trunk suddenly stops here. There's a stripe. It stops. So that's not a proper ending. However, this branch has a nice point. So we don't have to cut it off because it's already cut off by itself. It can't go any longer. I hope you understand me on that one. But yeah, you don't need to cover up points in your branches. So darker shadows go on the bottom. So I think we're done creating the rough bottom of our tree. Next up, you don't want to have all gaps in your tree. So try to cover up a bit. Of course, there are going to be some see-through areas in your trees, because trees are not solid things. There is gaps in a tree. So keep that in mind when drawing your tree. So as you can see, we have a nice little balance of gaps and cover up. You want to cover up probably most of the tree, but some spaces in between work very well. So let's keep drawing. That's done. Cover a bit of this up as well. There we go. As you can see, I'm leaving some space. Now we don't want to finish the tree all up because we do have a third color left for the tree, and we're going to use that to add even more 3D. So here's where our third color comes in place, all the way on top. to finish this off. And we don't want to have it in only one place, because that looks a bit weird. It looks like there's some sort of squirt of brighter green on top, so we actually want to use it in multiple places without looking too weird. So be subtle if you go lower, because of course you don't want to use the bright color on the lower part too much, as well as you don't want to use the dark color on the upper part as much. So if I were to add dark color to the top, which I can do, but be subtle, so do it like this. A little bit of darkness, that's fine, not too much. However, on the bottom, as you can see, a lot of darkness. And now finally our tree seems done. If you're not happy with this art style and you don't want to make a see-through tree, what I recommend is pick a color between your darkest color and your middle color. So this is a little bit of an in-between color, and we're gonna make it a bit more gray to blend in with the background. I'm gonna move this back to its original one. Anyway, and we're gonna draw all the way over the tree. Cover up everything. Like so, and then close it. And then move that to the background. And this is a great way to create a tree that is not see-through, but it does look a little bit like you can see through it. So this is what our tree looks like right now. Oh, we can still go in front of it, so we can fix that by grouping the tree. If you're not sure if you've selected everything, just move your selection and press Ctrl Z to go back to selecting. So we need to select this. Let's do it. And there, we did it. Now finally it looks like we selected everything, so press Group Items, Foreground, and there it is, our tree. I'm gonna reposition it a little bit so you can see the best parts of the bus. And we have a really nice tree for our level. So let's say you're not satisfied yet and you want to make some trees in the background. All you're gonna have to do is draw in a darker shade than your foreground and make them smaller. So as you can see, the leaves right here are darker, the art is smaller, and the trunk is smaller and darker. And that gives a really nice 3D effect. And I'm feeling like I'm in a forest right now. A really small forest with only 3 trees, but it works. If this video gets 25 likes or more, I'm going to give away the XML data in the description, so please leave a like to this video. Not only will you get a chance to get the XML data from me, but I'm of course doing that so you guys can support my channel, and hopefully we'll grow a bit as a tutorial channel, but also as the channel in general. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please check out my other content if you are interested. Thanks for watching, hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.